Hey guys, Brandon Woolham, CCM Magazine today, hanging out here in Nashville with William Lee Golden and Danni Stefanetti. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Brandon?
Great. So you two have got together, and it's a huge week for you, putting out a new song. And we're going to start with the song and William here because you've got all these accolades over the years, Hall of Fames, Grand Ole Opry member, Grammys, and at 85 years old, we're sitting here talking about your debut songwriting solo write out there. How did this one, I Got a Heart on You, come about?
Well, Brandon, it came about over a period of time, My youngest son, Solomon, when he was like 6 and 7 years old, I'd be on the road 150 days a year with the Oak Ridge Boys, an absentee husband, an absentee father, basically. But they were never absent in my heart and my mind. But Solomon would call my telephone number when he was like 6 years old. And he would, if I was not there, or on stage or something, he would leave me a message. And he would say, "Hey, Dad, this is Solomon. I got my heart on you." And that became the title I wanted for the song. And it was a situation where he was growing up. He'd moved to Austin with his mother and was going to school out there his teenage years. He's now in college out there, and he's studying medicine, and he's an EMT, emergency medical technician, and he's now studying for his practitioner license to practice medicine and in the field and to do things in EMT. And anyhow, it was missing him and him growing up and being a teenager at the time that I wrote this song, and he's now 23 and, like I say, in college and studying medicine. So it was a thing that I had a weekend at home, and I wanted to more than just write him a letter and things. I was feeling like that as you get older, kids get older, they start drifting away, and you don't get to spend as much time with them as you would love to. And so I was reflecting on all the times we'd had together and using his words, and I kind of went back and did some of the things that we did together, remembering when he was first born and then growing up, and then we'd travel together to places, So I was reflecting on all these times, and I just started I wanted to put it in a song form, and so the melodies were kind of coming to me as I was spent a weekend at home alone, and so I started writing in it and basically finished it that weekend, and I told Jeff Panzer about it, one of my best friends, and he lives in L.A. He's a TV producer and a music video producer. He's got tremendous track record of some of his videos are over 1 billion views. So he wanted me to hear the song that I told him that I'd written, but I never got anyone to help me put the music to it. And he would ask me every month or so about, did I ever get it? I said, no, I hadn't yet. So one day he said, "Man, you keep putting this off, so just sing it into your phone on the voice out. Sing it a cappella," sent it to me, and said I had met Danny, and he said, "We'll get Danny to put some music to it, put a track to it so you can actually sing it." And so she did, and Danny put a track to my song, and she sang it for me. She put it a little more upbeat than I had sent it on a tape, and she helped me to refine a couple of things. There was some lines that she thought needed to be repeating, that the line would be better to repeat it. It was a memorable line, and it was better than the second line that I had. And anyhow, it was kind of like that. But she also helped me clean it up some and change a couple of wording and things there that to make it more effective. But she put it together and put her voice on it and sent it back to me, and I was knocked out with her singing the song. It was she had it, and and she wanted me to sing it since I was writing it for my son. And so she flew back to Nashville and come out to our home and stayed with Simone and I. And she brought her computer and a nice microphone, her guitar and all of that, set up in our piano room in there. And so we sang it, and Jeff Panzer got a friend of ours with a video camera to come over and video us actually record the song and singing it there in the house. And so it was just her and I, and so that's how it all come together, with Danny helping me to finish a song that I had started and had written.
What kind of timeline are you looking at here? How long has this song been in the works? Is it one that was in the works when he was a teenager and you've set on, or when he was like 6, 7, you've set on it for 10 years, or?
Well, what happened is a song now, it's been since the pandemic I wrote the song, and it was, but he was in high school at the time I was writing the song, which was maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and but I started putting it together, and because I was feeling, he's growing up, and it's kind of hard to reach, and I was feeling lonely and missing being able to spend time with him, as we had spent so many great times together as him, a small kid growing up. And I was missing that. I was missing the times of realizing, that time is slipping by, just how fast time slips by. And anyhow, it's an emotional thing for me, and I was getting into it, and that's how it all come together. But it was feelings that I had for my young son, at him growing up and moving away, and then now he's in high school and got his life going, but it was hard to reach. But I kept those messages that he sent me on the phone, and I kept that. And then the old phone got old, I got rid of it, but I took those messages and had a guy at the Oaks office to help me transfer it over to a CD thing, and it's somewhere in a box in my basement. So I just wanted to always have that. It was so precious, and his ways of expressing love. It started back then, and it was me reaching back in time to those messages and how special they were at that time. And I felt like that I wanted to use that line, and it became the title of the song. She has a real gift as a talent in playing guitar, singing. Danny's written over 300 songs now, and this is my first one, so it's like having someone to help me who's had lots of experience at starting and finishing songs herself. So she knew what the song needed, and it needed music with an a cappella verse.
So Danny, take me back to when you get the call or the email that says, William Lee Golden has this song, and I think it's a perfect fit for you. You got to listen to this.
Well, when I originally got sent the voice memo, I was already getting managed by Jeffrey Panzer, who's one of William's best friends for over 40 years, I think. And I'd already met William in Nashville, and we were jamming in his music room. And I don't really think I knew how massive the Oak Ridge Boys were at the time when I first just knew William as William. And then my manager sent me the song, and it was like 10 minutes. I was mucking around with, I think, open D tuning, and I heard the a cappella version. I wrote out the lyrics, and I was like, oh, well, let's put this into like a chorus and how I would make a pop country song. And I sent it back to William, and then I got out my, my computer to try and produce it and put pedal steel and different layers down so we could have something to show William. And it wasn't until I came out in October and I got to see the Oak Ridge Boys do Elvira. They invited me to be on their music video. And I remember William said, come on the tour bus, to the video. We'd love you to be in it for one of the scenes in it. And we got off the bus and we were on Broadway, and someone said, it's William Lee Golden. And I was like, oh, maybe I don't know who William is.
And maybe the reason you don't know is people are hearing you talk. you're not from America where the Oak
Right.
Ridge Boys are. You're over in Australia.
Exactly.
So maybe not all of our country music makes it over overseas to you guys.
But my auntie watches a lot of, she got me onto a lot of Christian music and country music out there. So when I posted a picture of me with the Oak Ridge Boys, she said, "Oh my gosh, you're working with the Oak Ridge Boys?" So I quickly found out, but it was a real honor working with William, especially with all that he's done over the years and all the Grammys and CMA awards and Dove awards that he's won. He's very easy to work with. He's so calm and chill and
Yeah, all that stuff, and you're still going to be part of one of William's his first ever song that he wrote
Yeah.
at 85 years old.
beautiful song. It really, he's an artist when it poetry, songwriter, he's a painter. So
An author
I'm
now.
not surprised. Yeah, exactly. I wasn't surprised when I heard it. This is beautiful, and it came together so organically. But I've had about 3 different trips to Nashville coming to meet William, and it was one of those things where we didn't rush the process. It just happened the way it happened.
So when you got this product finished, you take it to Solomon. What is his reaction when he hears it?
Well, I've kind of sent it to him, but he, like I said, he's in college right now, and he's. But I asked him the other day, had he played it for his girlfriend yet? And he said he hadn't yet. But I guess when it gets out, that maybe he can.
Once it goes number 1, he's going to have no choice but to turn the radio on and hear you guys singing this song. So has the reaction to this made you want to write more? Are there more, some of your poetry that you would like to turn into songs with Danni and other songwriters, or is this kind of a one and done thing?
Well, I tell you what, I hope it can, because Danni actually wrote another song that she wrote for me, and knowing where I'm from and all of that, it's called Alabama Smile, that she wanted me to help her sing, and so we may finish that later on.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, 50 years of touring with the Oak Ridge Boys now. The farewell tour has still got some steam left in it. Will there be more dates released after this, or is the end of the year really going to be it for the Oak Ridge Boys?
No, it's not going to be the end. And I'll say this, the Oak Ridge Boys are not retiring. It was heart-wrenching for us to say farewell to Joe Bonzo. He was 50-year singing tenor here. And right there, it's been close to a year ago that when he was really going down faster, that this young man come along that we knew him because he had sang on stage with us in Wheeling, West Virginia one night. And his name is Ben James. We were on the show with Daly and Vincent at that time. He was traveling, touring some, singing with them. And so they come joined us on the finale of the show, Elvira and Bobby Sue out there. Well, when they come and joined us singing Bobby Sue on stage, well, on the second verse, Joe handed the mic to Ben and said, "You take it." And Ben took it and didn't miss a lick. And so it was after that then that Ben stayed in touch and said, "Man, if there's any way I can help y'all," he said, told Joe, said, "You're my hero, and I just want to do what I can too." But he knows all of our songs. And then Joe called him and told him, said, "Man, I've gone as far as I can go." Said, "Get your singing britches on." Said, "I'm passing the torch to you." And so Ben joined us at the end of December. We had a show that Joe couldn't make, and Joe said at the end of the Christmas tour, he said, "I can't go any further," because he's dealing with ALS. It's Lou Gehrig disease, which is a degenerative muscular issue. And it was heart-wrenching to watch it, but he was a trooper and never gave up, and he was having to be helped on stage and off stage by 2 people the last year. And but it was at the end of that he when he said that he couldn't go any further. And God works in mysterious ways. It seemed when the path seemed the darkest, that God sent us a new light and brought Ben James into the group. And we will go till we can, and I think that we all came here and joined the Oak Ridge Boys, there was a great singer that's standing in the spot that we stood on, and the torch was passed to each one of us. And I think that it's our obligation to actually pass the torch to a new generation when it's time. And if we can't, we can go as far as we can, and with the success that, and the acceptance of the audience of what, like Ben James is being accepted out there. And, he's not Joe Bonzel, but no one is Joe Bonzel but Joe Bonzel. And, but he's Ben James.
So with the Oak Ridge Boys going to continue to tour, is there a possibility we pull Danni out here on the tour bus since she's a special guest on a couple shows?
That'd be great. I wish we could.
And you going to do your song?
But, we're doing 75 dates this year with the Oak Ridge Boys. We're continuing to play. I think we did 3 or 4 dates last week and the week before. So we'll continue touring on through into December till Christmas, basically. We've got several dates booked in December, so we'll be adding some Christmas songs coming up, and it'll be the first time that we've had Christmas songs without Joe. And so it's that type of thing. It's an emotional thing for the Oak Ridge Boys, but I tell you what, God works in mysterious ways, and it's certainly...
So you talk about Joe there, but it's really been a tough year for you personally, and really the Oak Ridge Boys in general. So many losses this year, and you guys have still been able to stay on the road. For somebody that's watching this and dealing with that same kind of grief, is there any advice you give them of how you guys are working through this and kind of working through it in the public eye, too?
What it is I lost my oldest son on July the 1st. Dwayne lost his wife on Easter Sunday morning. Joe passed away on July the 9th, the day after I had buried my oldest son. And so it was devastating sadness in our family. There's a depth of sadness that's indescribable. But, after a few days of sitting alone and reflecting and dealing with the sorrow and the sadness, when we went back out to sing, I found that there was a healing power in the music. And as we sing in these songs and performing them, some of them makes them reflect on the times that we were together with our families and our... So it's, we're going through a mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual healing ourselves, because it affects you deep, all sides of you. Your whole body is being affected by sadness. And but music has that God-gift power to help lift us up and heal us with music. And it's something that we find each night, that we feel better after a show than we did before the show. And it's still that way. Dwayne is feeling the same way, too, that I'm feeling. And but it is a sadness, but it's something that we can't help. But we have to love them and remember them. We can't sit still, and there's so long we can grieve, but then it's time to stand up and move forward. And again, it was music that helped us in a healing process to move forward.
Go stream the new single from William Lee Golden and Danni Stefanetti. It is I've Got My Heart on You. It's streaming everywhere now as you are seeing this. Oak Ridge Boys, William Lee and the Goldens still touring. Danni, you have any American dates that you're going to be touring that people can see you live?
Yeah, I'm going to be out there in Palm Springs, California, doing a whole bunch of shows throughout the desert.
All right, well, we look forward to seeing you guys and girl.